Welcome back to Captain Crypto's Compass. In this video, we're going to look at XRP. Now, XRP has been treating a lot of our traders in the community, FFA, very well. In this video, I'm going to look at the charts. What patterns are we seeing? What are our support levels? And what are our resistance zones? Let's get to it. Hi, I'm Martin. I'm the founder of Captain Crypto's Compass. I'm a trader and a professor at the Financial Freedom Academy. I am passionate about helping you to achieve financial freedom through the art and the gift of trading. I will be providing you with actionable technical analysis and insights on your favorite cryptocurrency projects to help you make better and more informed decisions. If you're ready to take your trading to the next level, you're in the right place. So I've gone ahead and opened up the XRP chart on Binance, and I'd just like to give us a visual overlook of this amazing break we saw of the symmetrical triangle in XRP. Now, this was a long forming pattern that we saw from May of 2021 all the way to about November 2024. We saw this downtrend with lower highs being formed and this uptrend with higher lows being formed for quite some time, from June all the way to October 2024. So roughly 2 years we saw this squeezing in XRP as price was being pressured, and finally we recently saw a break of this ascending symmetrical triangle, taking a measured move. We can then see that this gave us a target. So let me just take a trend line here from the top of the symmetrical triangle all the way to the bottom, and this gave us our targets that we currently reached. So this was a shout out to the FFA. We got this early and we saw a lot of returns on XRP. So we can see that our targets have been reached. And for a continuation now, we have seen that XRP has formed a little bit of a bull flag here on top of the previous pivot highs, which is a fantastic bullish sign. We can see here the pivot high is sitting at this one level, and we can see that the bottom end of this bull flag was at the previous pivot top. So showing tremendous strength for XRP, coming back down and consolidating on top of the anchored VWAP as well from the bottom pivot and the previous all-time highs. And we finally saw another breakout of this bull flag, and we are reaching these higher targets that we set out for ourselves. Now, the first thing that I would just want to have a look at is what's possible for XRP. Looking at our measured move, the Fibonacci extensions from the previous bull run top in April 2021 to the bear market bottom in June in 2022, we have pulled up that, and it gives us a couple of targets. Now, I've highlighted the 1.2 and 1.4 Fibonacci. I can even add the 1.6 here, as I can see there's confluence with the idea of actually pushing higher into these targets we have. But we can see that it has respected the 1.2, this orange line, as resistance, and we've had formed two topping patterns inside of this resistance zone between the 1.2 and 1.4 Fibonacci extensions, ranging from roughly $4.30 all the way down to this $3.30 range, give or take. Now, looking at market structure, we can see that we are then well above the moving averages. Looking at the 21 and 50 SMA, we can see we are trading above the 21 and the 50 SMA, and we are forming solid market structure on top of the previous pivot highs, which is fantastic. Looking at this rejection that we currently face inside of this resistance zone between the 1.2 and 1.4 on 4 extension, we can then logically see XRP retracing back down to key support levels. Now, I've highlighted a couple of key levels that I'm looking out for, and the first one would be these previous pivot highs that we see here and the pivot lows that we're currently forming between roughly about $2.90 all the way back down to this $2.62. We can even just include those wicks candle body closes here at roughly 260. So first support band that I'm currently seeing is between this 290 and $2.60 on top of the previous pivots, with this retracement coming back down. Now, an interesting thing here, taking a measured move for the Fibonacci extensions and for this retracement, going from the previous pivot high at roughly 338 all the way back down to this pivot low at 162 and all the way back up to this 367, gives us a logical golden pocket Fibonacci extension support zone between roughly the 0.5 and 618 at $2.53 and $2.32. Now, what's interesting about this Fibonacci golden pocket support band here is we can see the confluence with both the moving averages, the 21 and the 50, and the anchored VWAPs from the bottom pivot and the top pivot. This gives me the two white moving averages for the anchored VWAP, and we can see that this range here coincides and gives a lot of confluence to the idea of retesting this golden pocket zone in the Fibonacci between the 0.5 0.618. We can also then see that the support zone between the 21 and 50 SMA gives us this range from 254 to roughly 214. I would like to see XRP actually hold above the 50 SMA as a bull band support. If we do see a candle body close below the 50 SMA, below this orange line at roughly $2.14, that would put a lot of pressure on this uptrend, and we could see a deeper correction, even targeting the 786 with these previous pivot highs here at roughly about 131. So this is a very important make or break moment for XRP as we are trying to push into these higher levels. Now, another possibility, if we do manage to find support on top of this area in this golden pocket zone, either a more bullish scenario on top of the previous pivot highs, or in a more bearish scenario, a retracement back into this golden zone. A couple of our targets, you'll see here, one being the 1.2 and 414, sitting at roughly $4.37 to this $3.35, and the Fibonacci extensions golden pocket resistance is sitting at roughly $4.20 all the way up to this $5.30. So there is a large upside potential for XRP. Hey, hope you're enjoying the content so far. Please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Now this Fibonacci extensions I've measured from the breakout pivot low to pivot high to this recent pivot low we made here at roughly about $1.61, and that gives me this resistance target in the golden zone between this $5.29 all the way back down to roughly $4.20, give or take. So these are our upside potentials, our upside targets. The 1.618 is also sitting at roughly $6.46. So we can see there is quite a lot of upside potential for XRP if it can continue holding above our key bull support band being the 50 SMA. So looking fantastic for XRP for the setup. My accumulation zone, should we see a retracement back down, would be between this $2.53 and the $3.31, even a potential wick down to this $2.15 if we do see a sharper correction. Now looking at our momentum here, we can look at our stochastics RSI, and you can see that currently the bears are in control. The blue line is trading above the orange line, showing us the momentum is to the downside. So we will see some further corrections in the future here for XRP, and we might even see the stochastics RSI come all the way back down below the 20 level and start consolidating. If we do see this correction, I'd like to see it hold in our key zones here between the 21 and the 50 SMA for that accumulation phase in XRP for a potential retest, resetting the momentum on the stochastics RSI and pushing up into our higher targets. Looking at the RSI as well, to add to this idea, is we have seen this uptrend with the RSI, a little bit of a downtrend here, but we are pushing down now into our key support levels with the RSI. I've highlighted a couple of key pivots here. Looking to the left, we can see this zone here has acted as resistance in the past. So I'm looking for XRP now to actually move into this and try and find support in this area. However, if we do manage to continue to the downside here, a deeper correction would facilitate a move to lower into our next support zone, being between roughly 50 and 45 on the RSI. So this would put a lot of pressure on price, and we might see a lower wick into this 50 SMA if that happens. So keep an eye on this pattern. These levels, we can see that we are trying to find support on the RSI. On the chart as well, we are looking to find support, and these are the logical levels that I would optimistically see support re-enter for XRP. If we do see and hold candle bodies in this area here, that would be a perfect accumulation phase to target these higher extensions on the Fibonacci. So this is looking fantastic. XRP holders are smiling, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. As always, peace and love, and happy trading. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and hit the bell notifications. Also, remember to click the link in the description below to join my mailing list, where I'll be sending you free emails and trading videos, and also market report updates weekly to help you stay ahead of the herd. As always, this community would not be the same without you, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Peace and love. See you next time.